This is what an after-work snorkel trip looks like for us. I used to not take the safety of my skin in the sun very seriously, but now I definitely do, and I always wear sunscreen, and I often wear a sun shirt as well. This is our new dinghy. We're still getting used to it. You'll see me kind of tapping the throttle because it's really sticky and I don't want it to jerk forward, so I'm just moving it forward little by little. Once we're out of the mooring field, we can open up a little bit, and we had to take a bit of a scenic route because there was a dive boat right in our normal path to get to this next spot. You can see Evan prepping his mask by spitting in it, and that kind of puts a film over the mask so it does not fog up as easily in the water. We had in mind where we wanted to go, but when we got there we had a really hard time beaching this dinghy. Even though we can trim the engine up, which is a luxury for us, the boat was just so heavy and the current was pulling us all around. We tried anchoring out in a little bit deeper water, decided against that too, and so then we just went to our backup plan, which was going to a mooring ball. Once we got there, we got tied off, and then I started prepping my gear to get in the water. Before we jumped in, we had a conversation about what our route would be and what direction we would swim in first. The current was pretty strong on this day, and you always want to swim into the current first, so that once you're done and you may be tired, you can just let the current bring you right back to where you started. And here we go. The first thing I do when I get in the water is to check our line to make sure the mooring ball we are tied off to is at least a little bit maintained and not super frayed. So I go over to check my knot and then check how we look running down to the seafloor. There wasn't a ton to see on this snorkel. It was mostly rocky, not much coral, but the coolest thing we saw was this barracuda. I saw Evan swimming backwards away from something, so I knew it had to be something cool, and here he is. And I know barracudas can be attracted to shiny things, so I only filmed him for a minute before I tucked the camera away where it wouldn't be reflecting. After that, we headed back to the dinghy. Another perk about this new whaley is that we have a ladder on it that the previous owner installed. I waited for Evan to make his way back. We got untied and we started heading back to our boat. That dive boat was gone by the time we were headed back, so we had more of a direct path. My approaches to the big boat in this dinghy have been stellar. Evan gets us tied off, and that's what our after work snorkels usually look like.